FLX1.com. This is Inside the FLX. I'm Josh Durso. I'm joined in studio today, as usual, by Chris Lajewski from the Montezuma Audubon Center up in Savannah, Wayne County. Chris, welcome back. We're here. We got a lot going on, and it is cold. It feels like winter out there. Is it confirmed winter up at the Audubon Center?
Oh yeah, we had our first snowfall last night. It's sticking on the ground, I've heard, up there. So yeah, winter is here. It certainly feels and looks like it. And the bird population is also telling us that fall is pretty much done and winter is here.
Woof, that is not the thing that some of us wanted to hear. But some rare sightings, I understand, up at the Audubon Center. Talk to us about that.
That's right. Rare sightings at the Audubon Center as well as down here in Seneca Falls at the Montezuma National Wildlife Refuge. So down at the Visitor Center on Routes 5 and 20 here in Seneca Falls, there's been a Barnacle Goose, which is related to the Canada goose. Looks kind of like a Canada goose, but it's much smaller than our Canada goose. It has a predominantly white face as opposed to just the white chin strap that the Canada goose has. And when I say it's smaller than the Canada, it's about a 2-foot-long bird, a wingspan of about 4 feet. And this bird typically is breeding up in Greenland and on over to Siberia and comes south to northwestern Europe for the winter time. Now, in my 11 years up at the Montezuma Audubon Center, I've never seen or heard of a barnacle goose here in this Montezuma area, but we've had one just down the road here in Seneca Falls. So really interesting, rare sighting going on right now. Another bird that's rare for our neck of the woods is the northern shrike, and that has been seen up at the Montezuma Audubon Center, Route 89, Savannah. This is a fairly good-sized songbird, mostly gray overall. It has a black mask over its eyes and a thick, pointed bill, which it uses to capture its prey, such as small songbirds and mammals. After it kills its prey, sometimes it will put its food on a thorn or barbed wire and eat it later. So it's like putting it in the freezer for a midnight snack later on. A really interesting bird, and it's been hanging out around our bird feeders up at the Audubon Center. But folks can see northern shrikes on occasion throughout the Finger Lakes region, and particularly in grassland areas or along hedgerows. They like to sit perched in the trees and then look for their prey in the fields.
I'm curious, when you see something like the barnacle goose, the one you're describing there earlier, and you see just one, and you know it's really kind of a completely rare, unique thing to have happen, is it assumed that there are more around or more in the area, or is it possible that quite literally just one lonely goose got loose from the pack, so to speak?
Yeah. Well, we haven't seen any other sightings of barnacle geese in the Montezuma area or even New York State that I'm aware of. So possibly what happened is this barnacle goose got blown off course, got blown over to Canada at some point earlier in the year, and then got in the flock of Canada geese, which of course do migrate south here into the Finger Lakes region, and some go even further south down to the Mid-Atlantic states. So we don't know exactly, for sure what happened. We just know where this bird typically is and can only speculate as to how it got here.
Okay, so now I'm really intrigued. So you're saying that these different birds can sometimes flock together even though they are not all the same, so to speak, and if necessary, travel with other birds?
During migration, that happens often, not only with waterfowl, but also with songbirds and shorebirds. You see we call them mixed flocks.
Okay.
So fall migration, spring migration, also this happens. And winter time, once the birds are in their wintering habitat, you'll see mixed flocks of songbirds, for example. We'll see black-capped chickadees with tufted titmice, Carolina wren, woodpeckers, and nuthatches, things like that. They're not in breeding mode.
Right.
They're just looking for food, and as long as they have enough food, they will share their space with other birds. Now, once it comes time for breeding, though, that's when things change, and they have their own territory. They push out other birds so that they can get down to business.
Interesting stuff. Bird counts happening. It seems like you guys are always in some sort of state of counting birds out there at the Audubon Center. What's happening this month and next month?
Well, coming up here in December is the 121st Audubon Christmas bird count. And we've been doing it at Montezuma for dozens and dozens of years. This is going back to the 1950s. And so we are looking for volunteers to participate in this Montezuma Christmas bird count with us. It's going to take place on Monday, December 20th. And we have a lot of experienced birders that come back every year. We're always welcoming new birders and novice birders into this survey. That helps us understand where birds are during this wintertime. Helps us understand how many birds there are. And that guides Audubon's conservation work, not only here in Montezuma, but also across North America and really across the Western Hemisphere. These bird counts take place all across the Western Hemisphere, and thousands of volunteers participate in this. So this is really, really important work, and folks can contact me if they want to register for this event. Montezuma@audubon.org is our email. Give us a call, 315-365-3588 to get more information or to register. Novice birders are welcome. We can pair them up with more experienced birders for a wonderful day of birding. Now, we can't do an in-person compilation. We typically have 40 people together. We have a nice warm meal together. Just can't do that at the Audubon Center right now. So we're going to have a virtual compilation where everyone shares their results. We can tabulate the number of birds that we've seen in the species. On average, we get anywhere from 70 to 90 species across the Montezuma Wetlands Complex. Again, coming up on December 20th, but there are so many other Christmas bird counts going on across the Finger Lakes region. If that Monday doesn't work for folks, a lot of other opportunities for them to get involved.
Very cool. Good stuff. Also good stuff. Your annual appeal is underway or is beginning. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, we're just so thankful during this Thanksgiving holiday season for the support of so many donors and individuals, not only here in the Finger Lakes region, but across this country. People support our nonprofit organization. They help us lead high-quality environmental education programs, the outdoor recreation activities, and bird habitat restoration projects all throughout the course of the year. We couldn't do it without their support. We're so thankful. Looking ahead to the new year, 2022, we're really excited to launch our youth leadership program. This is something that we're starting at the Montezuma Audubon Center, and other Audubon centers are doing this as well. We're looking to bring in new and diverse audiences into the Audubon network, middle school, high school students, as well as college students, and giving them opportunities to excel, to learn about conservation, to get involved with Audubon and conservation efforts. So we need support, though, for this new work and launching it. I'm really excited to announce right with you today that we have a donor that has agreed to match $6,000 to help us launch the Youth Leadership Program. So we're asking people across the Finger Lakes region, help us unlock that matching funds and help us launch the Youth Leadership Program.
That's
Folks can
amazing.
go to montezuma.audubon.org and click on Support Us, support our work, to support this very important work.
And that is awesome. And you guys are always sort of growing and thinking about the future and expanding and finding different ways and opportunities to do more than what you've done historically, which is already impressive. Give a shout out to the people who make all of these things come to life every day at the Audubon Center, the staff that you work with, and then, of course, obviously the volunteers throughout the year.
We're a very small staff. There's me as center director, and we have 2 environmental educators, full-time staff, and that's it. So we rely on our volunteers and our donors to support the work that we do. We are a year-round nature center. As you know, we've been doing a lot of birding tours, driving tours, and the hikes and the paddling and all the invasive species removal projects. But that doesn't take place if we don't have 200 volunteers that come out and support Montezuma Audubon Center. It doesn't happen if we don't have the donors to support our efforts. Montezuma is unlike anything else in the Northeast United States in terms of the size of conservation efforts, the partnerships that are involved, the nearly 300 bird species that can be found across Montezuma throughout the course of the year. So we're asking once again here as we approach the end of the year for folks to give back to the Montezuma Audubon Center, support our conservation work, support birds in the places that they need for today and tomorrow.
And speaking of that work, virtual programs, birding programs coming up in the next 3 to 4 weeks. You have got a few coming up, right?
Yeah, there's a couple of virtual programs I wanted to highlight today. One is a Birding for Beginners on December 4th at 10 o'clock in the morning. A lot of people have gotten involved in bird watching over the last 18 months. A lot of time was spent at home. That was a safe place to be. Outdoors has also been a safe place to be. So we're going to be offering this Zoom presentation for new birders. We're going to answer questions like, what binoculars should I buy? What about the field guides? There's so many on the bookshelf. Which one is the best? How do I identify birds? Where do I go in the Finger Lakes region to find birds? So all these questions and more will be answered during this Zoom presentation. We do have a fee for this program, $10 a person, $25 a family. And folks can go to our website to register online. It's montezuma.audubon.org. Click on our Programs and Events tab, and they'll see the entire list of programs coming up. The other one I want to highlight, another virtual one, is Howland's Island History. Howland's Island, 3,500 acres, New York State Department of Environmental Conservation land, 17 miles of designated walking trails, a couple of canoe, kayak, boat launch locations. So people know it as a birding destination, wonderful place to see unique mammals like river otters. But there's quite a lot of cultural history, and we're going to combine the natural and the cultural history through this unique Zoom presentation on December 11th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Again, folks can go to our website to register for this. We're going to take a look back 8,000 years to when the Native Americans came to this area. There's evidence that they were on Howland's Island. They lived on this island. We're going to take a look ahead and look at the farming history of Savannah and the surrounding communities in northern Montezuma. And we're going to also talk about the fact that Howland's Island was a prisoner of war camp during World War II. It was a civilian conservation corps area as well back during the Depression. So a lot to unpack with this Zoom presentation because it's a complex area, but a unique look at the history of Howland's Island coming up in a few weeks. Very, very cool.
Also, driving tours, they're continuing, right?
Yep, driving tours continue. They're filling up fast. Been very, very popular. It's a great way for people to explore the Montezuma Wetlands Complex. Again, new birders are always welcome. This is a great way to learn more about the 50,000-acre Montezuma Wetlands Complex. We'll take folks to see sandhill cranes. We have a lot of northern birds coming down south right now, so short-eared owls are starting to increase in numbers across Montezuma. That's a bird. You don't have to stay up till midnight to see that owl. It's what we call a crepuscular owl. So it's more active at sunrise and sunset. Really unique species found in grasslands and marshes. Bald eagle numbers continue to increase. Haven't seen the first snowy owl of the season yet, but I would imagine that'll be coming down from Canada here pretty soon. Probably see the northern shrike as well, maybe even the Barnacle Goose. You just never know. So, yeah, we have several driving tours coming up here at Montezuma Audubon Center over the next several weeks.
Very cool. And you made the point the last time we got together that still safe to walk out on the property. Run through one more time, if you could, where the good places are to walk, where you're not going to have to deal with hunters or anything like that, or you're at least better off.
Well, the Montezuma Audubon Center is a hunt-free zone. So again, we're on Route 89 in Savannah, right at the north end of the Montezuma Wetlands Complex. We're 200 acres of New York State Department of Environmental Conservation land, and that is the only New York State DEC land that is a hunt-free zone for obvious reasons. With all the programming that we offer, the guided hikes and tours and programs that we offer, There's no hunting right there around our trails. So we have 2 miles of trails through forest, grasslands, and wetland habitats. That is all a safe zone where people can walk their dogs on a leash and feel safe. The Montezuma National Wildlife Refuge, in some of their designated trail systems, there is now hunting for deer. Places like the South Spring Pool and Esker Brook areas, those are very popular during migration season with birders, but now there are hunters in there, so it's best to stay away from there. Again, almost all of the New York State DEC areas in Savannah are being hunted right now for deer. So best to if you're venturing out in those areas, certainly wear orange. The alternative, of course, just come to the Audubon Center. We're open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 4. We are taking a couple days off here during Thanksgiving, but folks are still welcome to get out on our trails. We'll have plenty of trail maps outside of our entrance they can get out and enjoy.
Chris, as always, appreciate the time. Love talking to you.
Thanks, Josh. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you too. Inside the Finger Lakes is a production of FingerLakes1.com digital media. The show is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you listen to shows like this one. It's hosted by me, Josh Durso, and if you want to hear archived episodes, visit InsideTheFLX.com. If you have an idea for a show, email it to josh@FingerLakes1.com or follow me on Twitter @FLXJosh, where we keep the conversation going all week long. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you back here next week.